We need an agreement on the multi-annual financial framework by the summer so as to be able to apply the new operative programs as of the next 1st of January. And it's the very multi-annual nature of these frameworks that has made them so valuable in conjunction with national arrangements. And the second key point has to do with recent attempts to cast aspersions on the cohesion policy, describing it as a policy that is rooted in the past, that is characteristic of periods of the past. And I wish to stress that the cohesion policy has shown that it's the best possible policy for investment in the field in projects for research, energy efficiency, the combating of youth unemployment, etc. These are all fields that are closely linked with the Europe 2020 strategy, and thus linked with our plan for the future. And the third point I wish to make is this. The areas covered by the ordinary legislative process, where the European Council has failed to respect the provisions of the Lisbon Treaty. On that, President Schulz, you may rely on our support. And with regard to the budget and the ceilings for receipt of funds, the European Council has taken up a position without there being a proposal for legislation from the Commission, and thus obligatory consultation of the Committee of the Regions, and this is contrary to the provisions of the treaty. President Schulz, you were mayor of your city for 11 years before you were a member of the European Parliament, so there's obviously no need to remind you of the fundamental role played by local and regional authorities right across the European Union. And I wish to point out how the work of the European Parliament and that of the Committee of the Regions are complementary one to another. Without your cooperation, our voice would not be listened to in the process of European lawmaking. And conversely, without our cooperation, Brussels and Strasbourg would be more remote from our citizens, which would be something that would exact quite a price from us at upcoming elections. Recently, more than a dozen rapporteurs from our committee have taken part in your meetings. We've had more than 60 meetings between respective rapporteurs, and we've also had the honor of hosting a number of your MEPs at our plenary sessions. And it should be also underscored that many of our draft amendments were adopted and incorporated into your texts, which shows that we have a mutual interest in working together. In political terms, we have excellent cooperation, but I will not conceal from you the fact that we are somewhat concerned about recent proposals made by the Secretary General of your institution. And I do say to all members of this plenary assembly that at the meeting that Mr. Schulz and I had a few minutes ago, we tackled this issue as stated we would before the meeting. And I told Mr. Schulz that we felt that this could encroach upon the independence of the committee and could therefore have a negative impact on our cooperation, particularly when you bear in mind that we have to work together with an eye on the elections to the European Parliament next year. But our doubts that were very logical were quickly dissipated by the direct personal commitment from President Schulz to the effect that whenever we felt that there was a departure from the principles of independence and prosperity and others, and our commitment to the goals of the Committee of the Regions, which will be 20 years old next year, and we are keen to to serve another 20 years and another 40 years, as I was saying, that any departure from those principles will be tackled directly by the President of Parliament, Mr. Schulz, and by the President of this Committee of the Regions, and by the respective Secretaries General, and combat it, so as to ensure that there can be no doubt about the objectives of and goals of the European Parliament with regard to the Committee of the Regions. And we are grateful to President Schulz for that commitment, so that we can continue to enhance our cooperation. Now, President, bearing in mind that the elections are ever closer, I'm sure that we will find other ways as well of fostering our cooperation to work towards a Europe that is close and accessible to citizens. And I would invite you to our summit of the regions in Athens in March 6th, on March the 6th and 7th next year. Athens, Greece, will be hosting us at a key time when it comes to ensuring that citizens turn to Europe once again as the solution to their problems. So without further ado, I know you're in a bit of a hurry. I thank you very much for listening, and you have the floor.